here. Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
Awesome. How you doing?
Good, good. So talk to us about the investment opportunities and the climate for ZALDIVA.
Why would you invest with ZALDIVA? Where are they going? What do they have to do to get the stock valued at certain levels? And it's pretty black and white. There's really no big projections. Like a lot of times you see projections that are just too way out there. It doesn't make sense. This is, if we acquire this, this is what our assets should be, this is what our revenue should be, and this is what our stock should be valued at from an independent source. The opportunity, we call it, it's a $10 billion addressable market. I mean, it's a big market to go after. It's not a small business. So if we go and get a small percentage of that, a medium percentage of that, we're going to do very well. Marvel was bought by Disney for $4 billion. Obviously, we think Disney stole them, because you'll see later that a few movies and that'll pay for the $4 billion. It's just huge. We have a proven concepts. Our gross margins are 40 to 45%. Some are really huge when we buy people's collections. Just it's a matter, but on average 40 to 45%. We're already publicly traded, so people can get in and out. They don't have to wait and say, oh, we're going to go public. We're already public. The stock symbol is ZLDV. We have knowledgeable management. Our plan is to grow $20 million in revenue, total revenue. That's our plan, and 20 to 37 times to current investors if you get in at these levels. Different product lines will show from the new comics and graphic novels to pre-owned collectibles, which are basically old collections that come in the door. And also just the miscellaneous stuff. When a person comes in for an estate sale, they may have 90%, 80%, 50% of the stuff that fits our mix, but then there's also stuff that doesn't, but we can still make profits on it, still gets new collectors and new business in the door. So we'll basically take anything and everything. And I think once new people come in the door that aren't involved with the comics, once they see what the comic world is all about, all of a sudden they become customers. We also talk about the eBay drop-off model. What we were seeing is a lot of people were coming in, and basically we would offer them so much money for their collection, they wouldn't like it, they would think it's too cheap, so they would walk out the door. So what we did is, instead of just doing the eBay drop-off or eBay business for ourselves, which we've done since 95, 96, we basically are doing eBay drop-off models for everybody. So no matter what it is, we'll sell it for them as long as it's worth our time. And this will go through the percentages and how it makes sense. And basically it's a 34% gross profit margin to the bottom line to ZALDIVA. We have a high traffic storefront. Again, 60,500 cars go by every day. You look out there now, the traffic stopped. You can't beat the traffic, you can't beat the location. And we're in sunny Fort Lauderdale, you can't beat it. The store layout, you can see around from the store layout, is something that we feel makes sense. We have the premium collectibles here in the back behind Jason. We have our graphic novels over there. We have the new issue, the stuff that comes out every Wednesday, and some stuff, the collections we buy every day in the back. Therefore, people have to walk through the whole store to see everything that we've got. I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, the average price on a new comic now is $3.99. Prices have risen, even though the economy is down. If you can believe it, the average price has gone up in the last 12 months. In-store pre-owned collectibles, you can see a lot of action figures, statues around here that basically are pristine in nature, because if you're buying something, you're not going to do anything to it except keep it in perfect condition. So when it walks in the door, you think it came right out of the factory. Again, the area in front of us, we have $1 and $2 comics. That's just for fast-moving revenue. It creates foot traffic for us, which is good. It's just stuff that we haven't got to yet to put out in the organized areas, but we will eventually. It also talks about the eBay process. When people come in, the contracts they sign, how long it takes for us to turn it around, and what they get, etc. It talks about the balance sheet, the acquisition strategy. It shows you that Uniselect and Regis and USI Holdings and some other ones We're very, just like the Blockbuster days, when there wasn't a Blockbuster, there was a lot of video stores around. All of a sudden Blockbuster came in and said, do business with us, or we're probably going to take over a lot of your business. So they did very well, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing. We want to be involved with a lot of other comic companies. We don't want to just take them over. We need the people running the comic companies because they're the experts. We want to continue to bring more and more people to ZALDIVA's umbrella of a lot of different divisions of other comic companies as well as other comic conventions. Just makes sense. Comic conventions is major exposure. So there's 4,000 specialty comic retailers in the U.S. So that's how many we can go after. That's not counting a possible sports memorabilia store that might make sense for us, or the comic conventions. So 4,000 comic retailers in the U.S. alone is a good number. It gives them an exit strategy down the road. If they keep doing what they're doing, they can continue to make the money that they're making, but also they've got stock in their pocket of ZALDIVA, and if they help us do bigger and better revenues and things, stock is going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to be able to plug in our eBay drop-off model to them, adding exposure to them, adding foot traffic and revenue and profits. Comic-Con is basically mandatory presence for major movie releases. It's just the place to be. Paper publishing in the U.S. for 2008 was $336 million. Some of the biggest movies I'm sure you've heard: Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, $1.1 billion domestic box office. That's not overseas. That's not DVDs. Domestic box office. The Dark Knight, $533 million. 300. Again, all these from comic books. $210 million domestic box office. Watchmen, $107 million box office. And Sin City, $74 million domestic box office. Again, not DVDs, not overseas. Talks about our first 5 acquisitions. Once we get those done, what we're looking at revenue-wise, what we're looking at sales-wise, profit-wise. They did a comparison to try to find out what the PE ratio should be in our business. They came up with 17.5. So once we do the first 5 acquisitions, again, we're going after 4,000 comic book stores. It shows a valuation, once we raise the money, once we do the acquisition, of 66 cents valuation on our stock. And then the second slate of acquisitions talks about the next 15 or the next 10 acquisitions, 15 total, and what our valuation should be at that point. They're talking a $2.29 valuation at that point. That's, again, it's a lot of hard work. We've got to do all these acquisitions, but these are the numbers. If we do what's on our plate, this is what it should be valued at. Talks about the different opportunities. The comic space is very active. Again, Disney buying Marvel. So everybody, again, is starting to say, what's going to go on? Oh, I got to get into that. Oh, I never thought about reading comic books. And they look into it. It's a much different situation than a lot of people that aren't involved in it think. Again, a publicly traded stock, and that's basically it in a nutshell. What we're doing with this is we're going after a lot of brokerage firms that just look at deals, look at lower priced stocks that will help them grow. And you can give us a call if you want to have this sent to you. We can email it to you. Call us here at 954-938-4133. Tell Jason, tell Steve, if I'm here, Jeff, or ask for Nicole. Just tell them what you want and we'll ship it to you. And there's also an executive summary that's just kind of a quick synopsis on this, as well as the partner briefing, which we'll go over in a little while. That'll say, why would a comic guy want to be acquired by ZALDIVA? What's their pros and cons? That's it.